Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll give you a moment to join us with your audio. And go ahead and place yourselves in gallery mode. All right, looks like most of you are here. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We are joining from near and far, all of us on Zoom tonight during the month of July. We will all be at home or wherever we are joining in one virtual Zoom sanctuary together. So it is great to see you in this mid-July Shabbat. So let us set aside all of the busyness in our thoughts. Take a deep breath, center ourselves, welcome the peaceful presence of Shabbat. And let's begin in song. Student intern, Shabbat Candles. Thank you, Zach. Shabbat Shalom to those of you who have just joined in the last minute. Some of you are joining us from vacation. If you would love to share that with us, give a wave and let us know that you're joining us from vacation. If not, a heart tap for everyone else here to welcome our community into your hearts as we join together. Speaking of vacation, Cantor Zell is on vacation this evening, and we are all grateful to our high school intern, Zach Gondelman, who is leading from his home most of services for us this evening. And the rest of our clergy team is here as well. So I know it is summer, and I am hoping that most of you are perhaps enjoying a different mode these days, a little more relaxation, perhaps some extra time outside. Maybe you're resting a little bit more because it is summer, but Shabbat is different than just any summer day when we relax and rest. It helps us tune in to a different frequency, perhaps to be in touch with our spirit and our soul, to welcome the path to shalom in our lives. So as we join together for Shabbat tonight, we hope that you will tune into that frequency, seeking that extra sense of shalom that you hope for. Let us bring that in for the next day. So let's draw our Shabbat candles near to us, welcoming the light, peace, and spirit of Shabbat. I will light our Shabbat candles from home and hope you will join me as well. Let's join together in the blessing.
Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. So we return to gallery view as we continue with Shalom Aleichem as we welcome the angels of Shabbat.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. And as these words appear on the screen, as I was thinking of what melody to share with you, I thought back to last week. And I thought back to what Cantor Suffren used to always speak of, how our week was like a 4/4 march. But this melody was so lovely because it was a waltz. We get to waltz on Shabbat, and how lovely that was. So I hope you'll join me with these words of Shalom Alechem, written by Debbie Friedman. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem לשלום מלכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך, מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ברכוני לשלום, מלכי השלום. מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם שלום עליכם שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא צאתכם לשלום מלכי השלום מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שלום עליכם שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
We have welcomed our Shabbat angels, and now we get to bring in Shabbat ourselves. To recognize the presence of Shabbat, a reminder to us to just relax. Take a few deep cleansing breaths, and as we enter and sing Lecha Dodi together, we join together in a new space, a Shabbat space. So let's join together for Lecha Dodi.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmiyanu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shem ultiferet v'li tchila Lecha Dodi Ikrat Kala Pnei Shabbat Lekabla Lecha
We rise either in body or in spirit to welcome our Shabbat bride.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'v'tzola toch emuneh am segula boi chala Olecha dodi likrat kala Obnei Shabbat nekabela Olecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
If you aren't already, I invite you to join in gallery view to recognize all of the different screens here and the oneness of our community. So we join together thinking of the oneness of our world, the oneness of our community, and the oneness within ourselves. We join together for sacred words of Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
We join together for our Hashkivenu prayer. Let there be love. Our aspiration that there should be love and peace and understanding for each and every person in this world, and that they shall be protected and guarded and loved within our midst. So let's join together with Let There Be Love.
Understanding among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Hashkivenu Leshalom V'ha'amidenu Shomreinu Lecha ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו, השכיבנו לשלום. Let there be love. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Thank you, Zach, for leading us this evening. I do want to share a few words at this time, but before I do, I want to apologize for yawning. I received the shingles vaccine yesterday, and it is knocking me out. So I just want to say that I'm glad I can be here, but Sabbath rest is feeling a little different right now for me. But I do want to teach a little Torah. For those of you who learned with me as part of our Summer Institute on Tuesday evening, we took a look at our weekly Torah portion, Devarim, which this week is taken from the first words, the actual first line in the book of Deuteronomy. Although Deuteronomy is from the Greek deutero, meaning a second telling, the Hebrew name of the book is Devarim, simply meaning words. Because what makes this book unique is that it begins with Moses's words. You see, all 4 books prior, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, begin with the words of an anonymous author. For instance, in Genesis, we know it begins, in the beginning, when God created the heaven and the earth. But Deuteronomy is the only book that's different because it doesn't begin with an anonymous author. Instead, it begins with Moses's words, Moses's Devarim, as he makes his final address to the Jewish people. Now, remember, we are in Deuteronomy. Moses is an old man now, having wandered for 40 years in the desert. And he's standing on top of a mountain, looking into the promised land, fully recognizing that he's never going to be able to enter. The people in front of him will enter the land instead. And so Moses looks out at the people and sees, first of all, not only that he's old, but that they're young. Remember, life expectancy wasn't very long in those days. And so in the 40 years of wandering, most of the people in front of him were born during that time, with no memory of the Exodus from Egypt, with no memory of the giving of the Torah. And Moses realizes at that moment, people are so young that before he dies, he needs to tell them the narrative, the founding narrative of the Jewish people, where the people came from and why they're going to the promised land. And so he begins his farewell address, his Devarim, boiling down 4 long books of Torah into one thin narrative for the younger folks at hand who, as we probably know, lacked a lengthy attention span. And so the question is, how do you summarize 4 books of Torah into one? 4 books we've been reading since the month of October into one narrow book, one Deuteronomy, one Deutero, one second telling. And Moses begins with core behaviors. In fact, he starts with the 10 Commandments. He repeats the whole thing. And then he adds some laws about how to live in the land, laws that no one really cared about when they were lost in the desert. But now that they're about to enter the land, he needs to remind them how to behave. And then after he's described so many of these behaviors, he offers a summation of all that he's learned in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. And the words are Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. That's where the verse appears in Deuteronomy. And so tonight, I don't want to give you lots of words. I want to be like Moses, who summarized in this small book the core behaviors and the core beliefs of a people. And it's my hope that by using the chat room, we actually create our own book of Deuteronomy. By just typing in one line, summarizing a life lesson, a core belief, or a guiding principle. And then by looking through these words, we'll be learning Torah together, a Deuteronomy, a sacred text. And so I invite you to use the chat room, a life lesson, a core belief, a guiding principle, nothing lengthy, just a few words. And while you do so, I invite us to listen to the words Adonai Sfatai. O God, open up our hearts. Let us express these words and get in touch with the people that you intended us to be.
Adonai, Sefatai Tivtach. Ufi Agid, Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tivtach. Agid Tehilatecha. Open up our lips that we may praise your name. Open up our hearts so we may feel our pain. Open up our souls and let our love make us whole, and we will praise your name, Adonai, Sefatai Tivtach. Agid Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tivtach. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha.
Created some really beautiful Torah in the chat room. Let's take a moment of meditation where I invite you to scroll through the words that people have provided, and then we'll gather in prayer, a prayer for peace.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael tevel veimru amen. Ose shalom imromav uya ase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshevei tevel ve'imru Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshevei tevel ve'imru amen.
We take a moment to move from prayers for peace to prayers for wholeness, for shlemut, and for refuah, for healing. And so if you are thinking of someone in need of healing, of mind, of body, of spirit, of soul, I invite you to return to the chat box and place the names of those you are thinking of at this time. And certainly we think of those who are in the face of natural disasters and others who are in need of healing at this time. And so we join together in these sacred words.
Mi sheberach avoteinu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say amen.
And of course, each Shabbat we give thanks for the sacred moments we've shared during this past week. And I'd like to begin with birthdays. If you could raise your hand if you celebrated a birthday this week. And I would like to acknowledge Cantor Zell, who celebrated a birthday, along with Max Wallace, who helps us with our technology. Heather Ganitsky, I know, celebrated a birthday, I think today. And as I scan through the gallery, I see a few birthdays as well. Happy birthday. How about anniversaries? I know that Carol and Eldon Klingen are celebrating their 48th wedding anniversary. Mazel tov, as I see the both of you. Anyone else anniversaries? July wedding. I want to say mazel tov to Molly Warshaw and Josh Perlin, who are getting married in the coming days. Mazel tov to you. How about new births? I know that Karen and Sid Mondell welcomed a grandchild into this world. Anyone welcoming a new child into the life of their family, we wish you a mazel tov as well. How about you experience something for the first time this week? Whether it be seeing a new flower or you just got caught in an incredible rainstorm that said, wow, that is a wonder of the world. We experienced a lot of rain this week. Well, for all of these God-given things that I hope we can see blessing within, let us give thanks with the words of Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. A big hearty amen.
So tomorrow night, we will gather once again to observe what is traditionally known as the saddest day of the entire Jewish year, the 9th of Av, or in Hebrew, literally Tisha B'Av. And so we'll gather on Zoom once again at 7:30 to read keynotes, Hebrew for ancient poetry. We'll read words of lamentations, once again reminding ourselves as a people to remember our history, even its sadness, knowing that by remembering even sadness, we can strengthen ourselves for the year or years ahead. When was the first temple destroyed, dispersing the Jewish people from its holy lands? Tisha B'Av. When was the second temple destroyed by the Romans, ending Jewish sovereignty for the next 2,000 years? The answer, Tisha B'Av. In the year 132, when the Jewish people ultimately revolted against Rome, what was the date when they were crushed and the rebellion was ended? Tisha B'Av. When, in the year 1290, did King Edward I force the Jews of England to leave the lands? You got it? Tisha B'Av. When did the Jews of Spain receive their expulsion in 1492? Tisha B'Av. Even World War I broke out on Tisha B'Av. And so this day in the Jewish tradition became a day of collective sorrow, a day when we would group all of the terrible events in history and remember, mourn and cry and lament. And that's what we'll do tomorrow on Zoom. But here's the important thing. After one day of remembering sorrow, we observe 7 weeks of comfort. According to the Jewish calendar, for the next 7 weeks, every Shabbat, we're going to focus on God's reaching out to us with a warm embrace of comfort. We'll sing words of comfort like Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, which means comfort, comfort my people. Week after week, because the rabbis realized that healing from hurt takes time. You may hurt for one day, but it might take 7 weeks to actually heal. And then after 7 full weeks of comfort will come Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of a new year. Meaning, having finally said goodbye to the pain of the last year, we'll greet a new one with hope and possibility. This year, I think the season brings a special resonance. And I hope you'll join us tomorrow night. There's been a lot of hurt and a lot of pain and a lot of sorrow this past year. And we'll observe Tisha B'Av together. And then from pain to healing, sickness to health, brokenness to shalom, we'll go each Shabbat, receiving comfort, preparing ourselves for the year ahead. And I can say this week we started planning for the High Holy Days. You'll start to receive word in a couple of weeks for registration. We'll be, God willing, meeting within our temple building like we did 2 years ago. We're asking everyone to be sure to be vaccinated. For those who are not able to be vaccinated, for instance, those who are under the age of 12, we'll ask for people to wear masks. And during family services, when we have so many children in our midst, we'll ask for everyone to be masked for their safety especially. And God willing, we'll greet the new year. But first, we gather tomorrow evening to recognize the pain, knowing that through the act of remembrance, we can grow and then seek comfort and then start again. And so I hope to see you 7:30 on Zoom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. Thank you so much. Nachamu, nachamu ami, yomar Eloheichem. Nachamu, nachamu ami, yomar Eloheichem. Yai la la, yai la la.
So we return in our service to words of Mourner's Kaddish. And so if you are in observance of a yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, or are in a period of mourning, I invite you to place the names of the loved ones that you're remembering this Shabbat, this week, in our chat box. And I want to make mention of those close to our community who have died in the last 30 days. Barry Glick, the brother of Gary Glick, David Goldberg, the father of Liz Marcus, Ernest Greenberg, the father of Glenn Greenberg, Al Lipkin, the father of Amy Robbins, and I would like to add Arthur Fontaine, the father of Claire Fontaine. And so if you are in a period of mourning or observing a yahrzeit, I invite you to rise in body or spirit, as is your practice, as we place the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on the screen, and we join together. Yit kadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'elam olmei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
And so there are plenty of announcements this week, much going on in the life of our community. I hope you will check your email that you received this afternoon so you can make sure to get all the latest information. But a couple of things. Tomorrow morning, we'll join together on Zoom for Minyan and Torah study at 10 o'clock. And as Rabbi Sissenwein said, we'll join together to commemorate Tisha B'Av at 7:30, also on Zoom. And next week, you can continue to join our Summer Institute programming that is ongoing. And if you haven't joined, I hope you will do so. We've had some extraordinary learning opportunities, and we will continue this week. And the following week, we have a couple of different opportunities to meet Josh Rosenberg, our new Director of Young Families Learning and Engagement. And there's a sisterhood soiree, and there's an opportunity to join together for a healing grief and support group. And so I hope you will check our announcements, for there is a lot going on and ways to connect with the life of our community.
And thank you, Rabbi. And for sports fans, I know that the Olympics is soon approaching. So I wanted to give you a heads up, because this could be a historic year for Israel. Israel has not won a gold medal. They've only won one in history. But this year they could win another. And so if you're really curious, first of all, it's a record number of Israelis participating. Last time around, they had 47. This time they have 89 athletes. Of course, one of the reasons is they have a baseball team this year, which added 24 people. But we've got a big delegation from Israel. And so what's to watch? Rhythmic gymnastics. Lenoy Ashram may win the gold. She just won the European Championship a couple of months ago. So we might actually hear Hatikva at this Olympics. And then there's judo, a sport that I do not understand at all, but 12 Israelis certainly do, because there are 6 men and 6 women competing in judo who are supposed to do really well. And then finally, I was telling the clergy, the Israeli baseball team could be this year's Jamaican bobsled team, because they might win a medal, because there are only 6 baseball teams and 3 medals. So they have a 50-50 chance, I guess, of getting a medal. But so a sport that Israelis know nothing about, baseball, that's filled with American Jews and some former MLB players, will be competing for Israel for the very first time. So I guess that's your sports report, Rabbi Sherman, Rabbi Sapphire, Ryan, Zach. I know that Rabbi Sapphire was excited about the 2 Jewish minor league ball players that were drafted this week, who were Shabbat observant. That was a first. So who said that the book of famous Jewish athletes was thinner than Deuteronomy or any book that was possible? We are certainly filling the sports pages now. So I'm looking forward to that. So with that, lots of great stuff to come. Let us make Kiddush. Ryan, you have a Kiddush cup somewhere? Oh, Rabbi Sapphire does.
I'm counting on all of you to have some Kiddush, to bring some sweetness in. Great. Please show your Kiddush cups so we can screenshot you, so we can all see you. There we go. Let's make a blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemaaseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikraye kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki vanu bacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. Wonderful. And now on the Zoom screen, anybody have a challah? We're looking for a challah. Let's see if we can.
There we go.
That. Lovely. Let's make a blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avon. Rip off a piece, take a bite, fulfill the
Amen.
mitzvah. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Let's open up the microphones.
Shabbat shalom.
Everyone. Shalom. Everybody.
Shabbat shalom. Good Shabbos.
Orange Sapphire. Shabbos, everybody.
Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Orange Sapphire.
Shabbat shalom, Libby.
You did a great job tonight.
Shalom, Sapphires.
Hi, Sister Pops. Hi, you were great.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Julie.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Novisky family.
Shalom, Oren.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Hi, Bubby.
Shabbat shalom.
Hi, Kira Holdley.
Shabbat shalom, Badram.
Hi, Libby. Hi, Emily. We're done with you. Hi, Holdley. Where's Holdley? Hi, Holdley. Hi, Bubby.
Thank you so much to Emily behind the tree. Shabbat shalom, the Becker family.
Shabbat shalom, Zach.
Zach, you were fabulous today.
Have a wonderful week, everyone. Good Shabbos.
Hi, Sapphire.